Hello everybody, today we're going to be going over volume and surface area of rectangular prisms and cylinders. So just a heads up, this is our last set of notes for the year here. We're going to be getting into review for our SOL after we are done with this little section for this week. So when we come back from spring break, we will be all about reviewing everything, getting ready for the SOL test. So for today, we're going over, of course, volume and surface area of certain things. So what volume is it is the measure of space occupied by a solid region or a certain shape. Sorry, let me just change my line type here. There we go. So when we're measuring volume, the units will be cubed because we have 3 different dimensions instead of 2. So we've got a length, a width, and a height. Therefore, giving us cubed units. So a cubic centimeter is a cube whose edges all measure 1 centimeter. So we've got a length of 1, height of 1, and a width of 1. So for volume of rectangular prisms, the volume is going to be, so we have volume equal to the length times the width times the height. So super simple one here. All we do is multiply the 3 dimensions together. So we're going to do a couple examples here. So we've got volume equals, so all of these formulas we're going to learn today will be given to you on a sheet when we're doing a test or anything, so you don't have to memorize all these. All we got to do is be able to plug in the things that we need to. So we're just multiplying all 3 of our dealios here. So we've got a length of 2, a width of 7.5 times a height of 4. And all we got to do is multiply that. So we got 2 times 7.5 gives us 15. 15 times 4 gives us 60. So this prism here is 60 inches cubed. A little bit of thinner line going on here. There we go, perfect. And again, we have volume equal to 9 times 5.1 times 4. So 9 times 5.1 times 4. So 9 times 5.1 times 4 gives us 183.6. Whoops. So the volume is equal to 183.6, and this will be centimeters cubed. All right, so the volume for a cylinder, so a cylinder being like a can of soup like we see down here. So volume of a cylinder is not much more difficult, a little more going on, but all we got to do is plug in and follow the right steps. So we have pi times the radius of our circle squared times the height of whatever we're dealing with. So if we go to each one of these here, we're going to have v equals pi, which is just 3.14 we're going to use, times 5 squared times 15. So we're going to head to our calculator. So delete that. So we have 3.14 times 5 squared times 15. So pretty big volume here. We've got 1177.5. So volume is going to equal 1177.5 feet cubed. That's all there is to it. We just plug in the values and follow our order of operations. So once again, we've got volume equals pi times, see our diameter here is 6, so that makes our radius equal to 3, because radius is half the diameter. So 3 squared times 9. So heading back to the calculator, we've got pi times 3 squared times 9. Just double check that. Yep. We get 254.34. Rounding to the nearest tenth, though, we've got volume equals 254.3. And that would be centimeters cubed. So volumes are pretty simple here. We just have our formula and we plug in the values and complete our order of operations. Surface area now. So instead of how much space this thing takes up, it is the sum, or adding together, all of the areas of the faces of this solid object. So rectangular prisms are going to have 6 sides like a cube would, but it's not always going to be a cube here. So when measuring surface area, we're going to be dealing with units squared, since we're not worried about how much fills this space, just how much the outside is. So the formula for a rectangular prism is going to look big and daunting, but it's super easy. We just have 2 times the length times the width plus 2 times the length times the height plus 2 times the width times the height. So it looks pretty messy, but it's not that bad. We're just going to complete all of our multiplications before we add these things together. So using our formula, we're going to have surface area equals 2. So first thing I would do is just say, just say that the length is equal to 3, the width is equal to 7, and the height is equal to 12. So following our formula, we're going to have 2 times 3 times 7 plus 2 times 3 times 12 plus 2 times 7 times 12. A lot going on here. I'm going to bust out my hand calculator so I don't have to keep switching windows here. So 2 times 3 times 7 is going to give us 42 for that first section, plus 2 times 3 times 12 will give us 72, plus 2 times 7 times 12 will give us 168. Add all those together, so 168 plus 72 plus 42 is going to give us 282 meters squared. So if we were making a box this size, that's how much cardboard or whatever material we would need to make this box. So next up, we're just going to follow this same thing. So we've got surface area. I'm just going to start plugging in from here instead of rewriting the whole thing. So we've got 2 times 7.5 times 2 plus 2 times 7.5 times 4 plus 2 times 2 times 4. So following along with what we did, we are going to 2 times 7.5 times 2. That's going to give us 30 for that section, plus 2 times 7.5 times 4. It's going to give us 60, plus 2 times 2 times 4. It's going to give us 16. Now we add all those together. 16 plus 60 plus 30 is going to give us 106 inches squared. So a box with these dimensions, we would need 106 inches squared of whatever material in order to construct that box. So we're going to leave number 3 for you to try on your own, and we're going to skip to surface area of cylinders. So cylinders are made up of one rectangle and two congruent circles. Congruent meaning the same size, same shape. So the length of the rectangle is equal to the circumference of one circle, just like it shows here, because that's got to wrap around that circle in order to complete our cylinder. Seems a little confusing, but we just have to, and we don't have to remember the formula, it will be given to us. So the surface area is going to be equal to, well, first let's do the two circles. So 2 times pi r squared, and that takes care of the area of both circles here, plus 2 pi r times the height. So seems confusing, but all we have to do is plug these two things in order to figure that out. So surface area for this guy, we've got 2 times pi times, well, our radius is 5 squared, plus 2 times pi times 5 times 15. A lot of timesing going on here, but not that bad. So we have 2 times 3.14 times, well, 5 squared is 25. So we get equals 157 from this chunk, plus 2 times 3.14 times the radius again, which is 5, times 15, the height being 471. Add those together, and we get 628 feet cubed. Big old cylinder there. And finally, for this one, we're going to have, so remember, if our diameter is 6, that makes our radius 3, because our radius is half of the diameter. So we're going to set this thing up. So we've got surface area equal to 2 times pi times the radius squared, 3 squared, plus 2 times pi times 3 times the height, which is 9. So 2 times 3.14 times 3 squared, which is 9, is going to equal 56.5. Plus 2 times 3.14 times 3 times 9, 169.6. Add those together, 169.6 plus 56.5 will give us 226.1 centimeters cubed. So we'll let you try number 6 on your own as well. And that's about it for volume and surface area of these two things. We just have to keep in mind these 4 formulas that we were given. And remember, you don't have to memorize these. These will be given to you on whatever test you're taking. We've got volume of a rectangular prism, length times width times height. Got volume of a cylinder, pi times radius squared times height. Surface area of a rectangular prism, which is a mouthful, but 2 times length times width plus 2 times length times height plus 2 times width times height. Add all those together and you got it. And finally, surface area of a cylinder. So our two circles are given by 2 pi r squared. That's the area of both circles combined. Add the area of the rectangle wrapped around those circles, which is 2 times pi times r times h, radius times the height. So plug in your values, complete your order of operations, and you will get these nice nifty answers like we got. So you're going to complete the assignment, which is going to be on Canvas, and then turn that in there as well, and you'll be all done for the day. Thank you very much, and have a great day.